This other clip I'm about to show you is to expose the Afrostacracy that I talk about. And this one particular puppeteer, member of the Afrostacracy is going to be Roland Martin. I don't particularly care for him outside of praying for his salvation and praying that he comes to the knowledge of the one true God of the Bible. Um, that is the extent. But I don't like what he represents and what he has said and how he treated this young man on his show. So let me go ahead and share that. It's going to demonstrate about the politicians, the pundits, the professors, the preachers, and the performers, how they are the gatekeepers and how they have to keep this narrative going to make you think that you the victim and it's the white supremacist system. He can't even, matter of fact, let me just share because I'm getting upset. Let me just share it first.
Why in the world, you're conservative, correct?
Yes, sir.
Why this bill, why Republicans are pushing forth a voter suppression bill when last year we saw record turnout in Georgia, record turnout. So they want to restrict voting when you just had record turnout in Georgia.
Well, let me start off by saying you had me mistaken. I'm not a Republican. I do consider myself conservative.
No. Actually, I didn't say Republican. I said you're conservative.
Okay.
I said you're conservative.
Right, absolutely.
That's what I said.
Right. Yeah, I mean that because you called me a Republican on Twitter. However, with this particular bill, I don't consider voting my particular fight. I do consider voting an asset to us and maybe something we can use as a tactic to help. But as far as us pushing voting all the way out, like voting is going to be some systemic change for the Black community, to me is not the way to go. If you look at the human anatomy of the body has its many different parts. And I do respect you guys' fight, in regards to voting, but I don't consider myself fighting for the right to vote that much.
Do you not vote?
We hadn't got anything.
Do you not vote?
Government. Yes, sir. I vote. Absolutely.
Okay, so when you say you guys' fight, first of all, there are multiple fights, there are multiple issues we can be concerned about. Voting is one of those issues. Are you not concerned that Republicans in your state are trying to restrict access to the ballot for no reason other than they are pushing the lie that Donald Trump also pushed?
Okay, I want to pause that for a second because one, Roland Martin is a flat out liar. He is such a liar, and I can't stand people who lie. You're your father, the devil. Georgia passed, we did not pass a voter suppression law. That law is the complete opposite. And that rhetoric right there has cost us the All-Star game. What Georgia passed, we expanded voting, making it more easier for you to vote, but harder to cheat. But notice the verbiage, they keep calling it the voter suppression law. We did not take away anyone's right to vote. In fact, we have more days to vote than many states, right? Early voting was expanded, and they took away the excuses for absentee ballots for just any old reason. There's no reason for that. You can, with as many days as our state has to vote, I think we have like either 15 or 17 days during the election period to cast your vote. You can vote early or you can vote on the day of election. What our state did was we actually attempted, and I don't think we did further enough. We should have threw out them darn machines, but that's another story. What we attempted to do was to ensure that everyone had an opportunity to vote, but that your vote would be counted one time, right? And that the voting would be more fair and organized. It wasn't to suppress anyone's vote. Stacey Abrams kept pushing that lie, and now you see this little pulpit pimpeteer. I'm doing ad hominems. I'm sorry. I apologize. He's lying. I just wanted to make that clear. That is not what Georgia passed, but he just keeps saying it, and he says it to the deaf, dumb, and blind people that actually listen to him, and people believed that because they don't do their research and they don't know how to turn off CNN and BET and whatever channel he's on. All they do is live in this one little victim echo chamber. He's part of the Afrostacracy. His job is to lie to you and to make you think that there's some boogeyman out there that's preventing you and just from doing what you want to do and keeping you from being great. And that's not true. And the other thing I wanted to note, do you notice all the hostility in this man's voice and in his face? He is so threatened by this young man who is calm and cool and collected and respectful. He keeps calling him sir. Do you not vote? And he's so I ain't gonna do the ad hominem attacks. I ain't gonna do it, y'all. Y'all pray for me because I'm having a moment. But I wanted to stop and pause it just so y'all can see all of the feminine energy coming from Roland Martin. On top of the fact that you can tell he feels threatened by this young man because this young man is about to rip him a new one, and all he can do is keep his needle stuck on stupid.
Right. Absolutely. I understand exactly what you're saying. However, again, that's not my fight. I believe.
No. I have a question. Ask your question. And the question is this here. Do you believe Republicans in your state are wrong to be pushing this voter suppression bill?
Can you give me the list of things that's all on the bill? Because I know you said the voter ID.
Well, no, here's a perfect example. This particular bill right here gets rid of no excuse absentee balloting. Republicans in Georgia passed no excuse absentee balloting 15 years ago, thinking it was going to help them. They're angry because you had people who voted for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and also John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock won. So they're changing the law because they're angry they lost at the ballot box. But
no, he's lying again. That wasn't it. That wasn't it. Now, it might be true that they initially passed that. But what you also have to understand is that I really don't want to get into a conversation about election integrity, but we needed to have a conversation about Georgia's election integrity because there were issues there. And it was way too easy to cheat. We needed election integrity and we needed to reform that system. That was done. I don't believe it was done enough. It wasn't done to my satisfactory, but it was enough. And I think just absentee ballots and all these mail-in ballots, it's a problem. It is a problem, and it made it very easy to cheat. Now, I think there's problems on both sides of this discussion. But the point I'm trying to make is, why are you trying to bait this young man into a conversation about voter suppression when no one is trying to suppress anybody's vote? You such trash, Roland Martin, for treating this the way you did. And this is not a recent clip. I just been storing all of this up and I needed to just get out now. This is actually very old, but since I wanted to talk about King Randall's recent tweet, I thought, and I've been talking about the Afrostacracy, I was like, you know what, let me just go ahead and just bring this out so y'all can see exactly what I've been talking about, how the pundits, right, that P of the Afrostacracy, how what they do on purpose because they're being used as a tool. They're being used as a tool to keep the narrative going. So let's continue.
For 14 years, it was fine until last year. Is that, again, do you consider that to be egregious on the part of Georgia Republicans? Why would they change the law? Because they lost. How about making a better argument for the voters?
I agree with you. I do. I agree with you. I'm not against you there. I definitely think that is an issue that I believe you guys could fight. But that, again, voting is not my issue to fight. I believe.
So what's your issue to fight?
My issue, I fight for young black men before they die. And that's what I do.
Oh, y'all heard that right. So that was shade. When he was saying, I fight for young black men before they die, poking fun at the fact that the Afrostacracy only cares about young black men when they're dead at the hands of police. That was brilliant, King. I saw that. You did it with a straight face, and I was here for it. Because Roland, he don't care about young black men. He ain't stepping foot in none of these hood communities, and he sure ain't taking 9 black boys to go live with him and his preacher wife. That's just not going to happen. I just had to stop it there because that was a cute little mic drop. I love that.
I do in my organization. I do teach them to vote, but I don't tell them that voting is going to be the be all end all.
No one says the be all the end all, but it's a part of it.
But you guys promote voting like it's just going to change like the systemic outlook of the black community. That's not where it's at. We have to get out and go do for self in our own communities.
So define do for self.
When I say do for self, you shared one of my tweets, my videos, and I was actually a big fan of yours, but you shared one of my tweets when I said black people need to stop begging the government and go and do for self out in our communities. You shared the video and called me an idiot. I didn't.
So he called King Randall an idiot because he actually was encouraging black people to do the very thing Booker T. Washington and Frederick Douglass advocated for, which is do for self. Stop being out here whining and crying, begging. Look into the government. I have a T-shirt. That says the government is not God. And I'm actually going to talk to my homeboy because I have a Facebook friend of mine that actually came out with that shirt. I bought it from him. He's not selling them anymore. I'm going to come out with that shirt. The government is not God. And King Randall was trying to demonstrate to old smart boy over here that you keep looking to the government to be like, we need a program. We need something systematically to help us because we just can't, like, I can't stand all that whining. I'm with the 23-year-old who's like, I'm out here teaching these young men, ain't nobody gonna give it to you. You gotta go out here and work for it. He is teaching these young men a healthy doctrine of work, right? The same thing my husband teaches my boys. Like, you know, we getting up and you about to do this, and I'm gonna teach you how to do that, and you're gonna run this. Like, they need to be doing something. How is that bad? How do you have vitriol and hatred toward a young man who's actually saying, the government not gonna save you. You need to just go out here and do for self. Like, he can't even wrap his mind around such a concept. So he's like, well, what do you mean when you say do for self? He literally doesn't even know. And so King Randall gets ready to explain what that means to him. Take a listen.
I didn't see anything idiotic about that statement at all.
So when you say do for self, like what? Explain that.
Okay, for example, here in Albany, Georgia, we complain about our school systems a lot. Many of our young men can't read. They have very horrible literacy rates. We don't have any rehab programs here for juvenile offenders. What I decided to do, I started a program 2 years ago, decided to do for self, and I started taking children into my home. I started taking custody of kids from juvenile court, and I started molding them and training them and teaching them skilled trades, etc. Now I'm 21 years old. I just purchased a school here in Albany, Georgia, to combat us being in the government-funded schools that are not teaching our children what they need to learn. So that's what I mean by do for self, simply getting up and going out and do it.
So
I beat the stereotype that I'm young, black in America, and I can't do anything because somebody's holding me down. Absolutely not.
So a question.
Teenagers went and go ahead. Me and some teenagers went and bought a school, and we just bought a school bus simply from going out and doing work. We decided to go fix our own communities. I'm not expecting anything from no politician. I'm not expecting nothing from Donald Trump, Joe Biden, or nobody. We're gonna go do it for ourselves, and that's what I believe we need to be doing. I can vote, sure, but nothing's gonna change in our community.
So you went to the juvenile court system. Is that not government?
Absolutely.
So when you say purchased a school, and this school is going to be what? Private school, charter school? What kind of school is it going to be?
No, it will be independently owned. This will not be funded by.
See, the way Roland is talking, he's talking like this young man couldn't do it, as if it was going to be impossible for him to do without the government. So what kind of school is it going to be? Private school, charter school? You know, he can't wrap his mind around the basic concept of find a way or make a way. He cannot. Probably, I don't know the man personally. I just know when you're part of the Afrostacracy, you have no concept of building something with the fruit of your own hands without having to be at the expense or on the backs of or on the victimization of your own people. Because that entire platform is on. He's not talking any sort of positive rhetoric or in any conversations that is going to help benefit the Black community in any way, because he's a tool. He is a pawn in the grand scheme of the Afrostacracy. He gatekeeps. He's Boule, right? All he does is look the part and make you think that what you want to achieve, it's out of your reach. So you got to get it from a government-funded school, and we need to change the legislation. Listen, we come, and I say we, my people, I don't know about y'all, you speak for my people. we come from a stock that in the face of real adversity, when like Jim Crow was a real thing and you knew don't go on that side of town because you might not come back, land, growing our own food, building our own communities with just common sense. Some of us were illiterate past the outside of a third grade education. That was all that we could do. But we accomplished more with less. Our families were intact. We had a healthy reverence and respect for God, our creator, and we were doing better. But then you have people like Roland Martin, who's literally trying to tear this young man down by making him think. Mind you, when this was recorded, he just bought the school and they hadn't enrolled any students yet. He has students enrolled now, and each year they add on a grade. So until the school gets up to grade 12. He's putting in the work and he's making you look like the chump that you are. And I'm here for all of it. Let's continue.
Government.
No, that's why I asked you. So it's going to be a private school.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be a boarding school.
A boarding school. And then for the folks to be able to afford to send their kids to the boarding school, what kind of mechanisms are they using in Georgia? Their own funds? Are they using school vouchers? What are they using?
I can't hear you. Say that again for me.
I said, what mechanism are they using to send their kids there to pay for the school? Their own money, or are they utilizing vouchers from the Georgia government?
Absolutely. So for our school, we're financed completely by donors. We have many donors that have given yearly endowments to our school that will be able to pay for these students to come to our school for free. Many people believe in our mission, and we're making sure that young black men, where we live, where we don't have any rehab programs for juvenile offenders to even get out of jail and stay out of jail, we have people that believe in our mission that are trying to send children to the Expo Boys for free. We have many people that are trying to send kids to this boarding school to be able to take care of themselves. That's what I mean by doing for self. We got to simply get up and do it.
So you don't believe that government policymakers play any role whatsoever in being able to impact the lives of black boys and others in Georgia?
If we take them out of that government system, we don't have to worry about that. I keep saying,
how is that? So hold on. So here's the question. Hold up. Here's the question. Mm-hmm. How do you remove someone out of a government system when we all live in government systems?
Okay, being literal, absolutely.
He just sounds so stupid. I told you he can't even. Either he really believes the stuff that he's saying. I can't tell if Roland really believes what he's saying and that he lacks the emotional or the intellectual fortitude to be able to like, oh, do for self, small government get out my way so I could just build and do and thrive. I don't know if he believes that you really can't do it, or if he's literally just spouting this rhetoric because he's paid to do so. I don't know which one it is. I don't know if he's really just this ignorant and he has a one-track mind and he can't fathom the concept of doing what King Randall is doing, or if he knows it's possible, knows it can be done, but can't say it, so he has to be the control opposition on purpose and do ideological subversion. I don't know. Either way, it is bad. And don't tell me that people like him really think that Black Lives Matter. I don't believe you. And there's nothing you can tell me to convince me that these people actually care about Black people, because the words that were coming out of King Randall's mouth, it makes no sense that someone could be vehemently. It wasn't just, oh, I disagree or I see another path to doing it. This man vehemently disagreed with everything King Randall said. And not one time did he attempt to have a meaningful dialogue to engage with the argument. He just kept moving the goalposts. So how are you going to take them out the government system when they're in the government system? Like the idea that King Randall's school is free, can't wrap his mind around that because, well, somebody must be, maybe because all you know is being pimped out like a prostitute by the government rolling. Maybe that's why you just can't see how it could accomplish it anyway. Maybe everything you've accomplished is because you had to, do something for it in exchange for for money. You have to sell your soul. But there are many of us out here in this world who we just work hard, right? We put God first. We work hard. We don't allow the victim mentality to captivate us and cripple us to where we literally sit and be like, if the government don't give me a grant, then how am I going to do it? Like King Randall's like, okay, literally, yes, I have to go to the county and get a business license and I got to get a county inspection. And that's engaging in government in a commerce sense. But what King Randall is saying is that I don't depend on the government to accomplish these things. I put government in its rightful place, right? I support policies that actually, unlike, I thought about doing a story about this, the difference between red states and blue states. You have leftists, Kevin O'Leary, who's like, I don't do business in New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, or California anymore because it is too hard to do business. There's too much government overreach, too much bureaucracy, there's too much red tape, too much regulation, right? People who actually are entrepreneurs and want to build something, they purposely, if they can try to help it, avoid blue states because it's just too hard to do business. The licensing and the fees and the paperwork for this and the filing for that. And it's all done just to pad the pockets of the politician, right? See, but this here in Georgia. Now, from my understanding, Roland's in Texas, which is, it might be purplish, but it's relatively red. He should understand these things. But because he's just a puppet for the government, or should I say the DNC, we just gonna say he don't know no better. That's what we're gonna say. But I felt everything King Randall was saying because that's how my husband thinks. That's how it's a mindset. It's a mindset that I saw someone in the live chat say it. When you get off that plantation and you literally divorce or you shed the vestiges of the African American indoctrination and you pick up Black Americanism, it changes your worldview. Now, I'm not saying you're a Christian first, but in this country, the cultural distinctive that defines you, I would say you need to shed African Americanism and embrace Black Americanism. And in my previous segment, I explained what that is. That is the African American subculture of failure, which is I can't do anything unless the government says that I can, or unless the government gives it, or unless the government sanctions it, versus Black Americans are like, oh, you gonna put a roadblock in my way? Okay, well, we're just going to ground that blow rock. We're going to within the confines of the government, but we're going to do what we got to do because no one monkey's going to stop this show. That's a Black Americans thing. The African American is too busy feeling victimized and trying to make the government comply to its demands versus competing on the basis of your own efforts and contributing something valuable in the marketplace to where they can't say no to you because they need what you have or they want what you have because you're creating value. Let's let King Randall finish. He's almost done here.
Absolutely, we all live in a government system. Absolutely. However, you can do things to remove most government from your life.
How?
As far as trying to get yourself out of food stamps,
How?
trying to get yourself off of welfare. You got to go work. You got to get jobs. You got to get out here and go.
This man actually said, how? How you gonna get off of food stamps? How? Like, he knows how, but he wants y'all to think that it's no way how. So that's why he's like, well, how? Every question or every emphatic statement that King Randall made, notice how Roland's response was, how? How? His goal is to cast doubt, to make you think that you can't, to make you think that, oh, hard work doesn't win. And staying in school, getting a basic education, getting married, having, just how? Like, how do we do all of this? How was it done in Reconstruction and post-slavery? The same way. They just did it. Oh, I'm mad, y'all. I'm sorry. Oh, he just made me so mad.
Go and do it.
So hold up. So hold up. So I'm just curious. So if somebody doesn't have a job, Are they not applying to government for unemployment benefits or insurance?
Absolutely.
So how can that person remove themselves out of government when that's what government provides?
Absolutely. Well, my thing is trying to make sure you're not allowing the government to finance your whole entire life. As long as you're giving somebody the right to feed you, you're giving them the right to starve you as well. People are living their whole lives off the government systems. It was the day the government decide, well, we're going to cut food stamps, we're going to cut this and cut that. What we going to do? We have people out here living off those systems. So I believe in teaching our people how to go survive without the government. That's my biggest thing.
But again, though, you keep saying, I'm trying to understand. You keep saying how to survive without the government. You act as if a young black boy who comes into your program will not interface with government in any way. They will interface with government still driving down the street.
He never said that, dumb, and you know that is not what he meant. So now the more you talk, the more you make yourself look foolish and ignorant, because everybody knows that when we say, everybody knows you're going to have to interface with government on some level, whether that's a driver's license or requesting your social security card or going to register to vote or to register a vehicle, to purchase real estate, to record a deed. Like, we know this, Roland. What we're saying, government dependence. We're not saying isolation from government completely. We're talking about government dependence and looking for the government to solve your problems, not to provide, having the proper healthy role, respect of government, which is to restrain the evildoer, to keep law and order and things like that. No, you're arguing something that is not even worth having a discussion over. And I'm so sorry, King Randall, that you had to subject yourself to this foolishness, because this man, I do not believe that he's that ignorant, that he does not know what you mean. I really believe, as a part of the Afrostacracy, his job is to cast doubt, to stoke division, and to make you think, to gaslight you so bad that you start to second guess your reality and think that, you know what, maybe he's right. Maybe I can't do this without the government's help. Maybe I should apply for that grant and let the government kind of come in a little. Like, that's what he wants. He wants your plans to fail so that it can look like the other communities where all his other Afrostacracy friends are in charge of, i.e., New York, California, Philly, Detroit, Chicago, Baltimore, St. Louis. That's what he wants. He literally wants for you to, he's gaslighting you to make you question your reality so that you can allow the government politician, right? That aspect of the Afrostacracy, that you can relinquish your power and control to them so that they can do what they do best, which is destroy communities and destroy cities, and don't build them up and just pocket the money in their own personal coffers. But